professor, I will test you in the worst way. Don't bring a scantron, it's pop quizzes all day. Cause of our chemistry, we do biology.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. You can't turn. It's not easy to turn your aggression on and off. I hear ladies talking about that. You know, I'm in my masculine, and guys like you need to cut it off when you get to the house. But we don't talk about this from a man's point of view. So any guy who's played contact sports or aggressive sports, you know, whether that's boxing, wrestling, football, mixed martial arts, you know, something where you can say basketball, but not as much now. Where physicality is like really, really part of the game. If you've met any soldiers, you know, people who went off to war, people who are trained to kill. You met people who actually didn't go to war but kill people. You'll know that's something that you just can't cut on and off like a light switch for the vast majority. You know, there are a lot of people who once they're taught that aggression and once that switch comes on, it never cuts off. And there are other people where they go through a journey of trying to figure out how to cut it off. And then you got people who can on off at a moment's notice because they've, you know, went down a whole journey for a reason. And people don't want to talk about how hard that is. And the problem is you don't fit in. And what I mean by you don't fit in, once you're taught to be, you know, ridiculously aggressive, and once that's praised, and once you get pats on the backs, or you get paid for that, or you get any kind of accolades for that. For one, you like the competition, you like you like the concept of getting active. But for two, you know, you like the adoration. But for three, when it's time to just be around normal, quote unquote, regular society, you don't fit in because you don't want to cut it off. And it's like, and you might see with a person, you might have an issue with passive aggressive people because you're an aggressive person. You know, what you get pats on the back for in one environment, you can get a 10-year sentence in prison in a different environment for the very same thing. And it's hard to be in those environments. Like I'm gonna go over here and do this, but if I go over there and this happens, I don't even want to be in that environment because I don't know how bad this is gonna go. Same thing with you hung around enough soldiers, they don't want to be around all that rah stuff because they really like, look, this is what we do. Like I'm not if you call me and all that stuff is involved, I'm coming. And I'm bringing all this training with me. So you see a lot of soldiers, like kind of like they stay in their lane, they get out of the way. They could do a lot more damage to society if they wanted to, but they stay away from the BS because they don't want to cut that on. That's why do you think you see a lot of those guys going through depression and having thoughts of taking themselves out? Because you know sometimes certain actions are hard to live with. And if they're not hard to live with, it's hard to live in society to operate quote unquote normal again. So you can't just cut it on and off. Now, the other thing, you know, for the ladies, like, you know, oh, you see, that's why I can't cut it on and off. Because when I go to work, I'm in my masculine, I'm aggressive. Guys are never going to see it that way, ever. Because what you think is aggressive and what we think is aggressive are two totally different things. Totally different. What you ladies think is aggressive that y'all can't cut on and off is just a bad attitude to us. See, this, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a cutthroat. That extra sauce or what you feel like is cutthroat behind a piece of paper or something like that, or using a position, you got to, and you can't cut off trying to be bossy. You don't realize the guys who's saying it's hard to cut it off are people who've given people concussions, broken people's bones, broken people's necks, maybe maimed a person, killed a person, paralyzed a person, put a person in a wheelchair for life. Like those are, person who took pleasure out of knocking the snot out of someone, literally, not figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Who stepped on people's faces and broken people's ribs and, just done some very aggressive things. Who've watched and felt the wheel leave a person's body because they just give up because they're getting beaten so badly. You watched this person light go out of their eyes because you took it. You know what I'm saying? You've broken a person to the point that they may never fix themselves. They may never be the same again in life. They don't, So that's the kind of aggression that guys are talking about. So a little bit of, oh, you can't tell me what to do. It really doesn't hold a candle to it. It really doesn't. So, and when those guys can't cut that off, like, I think that's one of the biggest blessings in life of having children, because they force you to cut it off because they're children. Like, so like the people who I see that can handle it most are usually guys with kids, because over here, daddy got to be like this. Coming to the house and it's now you got to be a kid. It's no, you can't do that, because if you don't, you become abusive. And if you become abusive, the guy that can cut it off because of their kids is the guy that's gonna come get you. And even if you're an aggressive guy who can't cut it off, you don't want the guy who knows how to cut it off to cut it on for you, because he's gonna take it way further than than you are you willing to take it. So I just wanted to bring that topic up, because people think it's not easy to cut that killer instinct on and off, and ladies, it's not the same thing at all. So what y'all think that it's not the same thing at all? It's not. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and try and catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take you.